welcome everybody to the August 7th, 2025 Webster Town Board meeting. Let's bring it to order with the national anthem, the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Dylan, can you do the roll call?
Supervisor Flaherty.
Here.
Councilwoman Cataldi. Present. Councilman Cahill.
Here.
Councilwoman Nguyen.
Here.
Councilwoman Wright. Here. Attorney for the town, Taylor.
Here. Okay. Love when the boardroom is full, even if they're going to chant, right? Like it. For people that have been to town board meetings before, you've heard this. For people new to this, I'll try to give a very brief civics lessons, I guess. You're going to see that major decisions, like are going to be considered tonight about a cell towers moving along to the planning board, is a 5-person vote. I may be the town supervisor. I am one vote. Every one of these town board members has the exact same strength of their vote. However, what the town supervisor does have, and he does not have much of it, is the executive privilege to set the agenda and also to kind of change the agenda around as far as the order. So I'm going to take that executive privilege tonight, and what we're going to do is we're going to go through the whole meeting, which shouldn't take too long, and we're going to leave to the end the open to the floor. Each speaker will be allowed 5 minutes, and the resolution votes on seeker and the proposed Creekside cell tower lease. Okay, everybody got that? So our next item up is the minutes to be considered for approval. And 3 weeks ago in this boardroom, we did a workshop. I read those meeting minutes. I make a motion we approve them.
Second. Supervisor Flaherty.
Aye.
Councilwoman Cataldi. Aye. Councilman Cahill.
Aye.
Councilwoman Nguyen. Aye. Councilwoman Wright. Aye.
Okay, and the regular board meeting that night was very robust as far as speaking from the podium. So your minutes you did them very well, by the way, and they were very thorough. I've read those meeting minutes. I make a motion that we approve them.
Second. Supervisor Flaherty.
Aye.
Councilwoman Nguyen. Aye. Councilwoman Cataldi. Aye. Councilman Cahill.
Aye.
Councilwoman Wright. Aye.
John, is this you?
Yes, I did. I reviewed the bills, found them to be in order, and I make a motion that we pay the bills as submitted by the Director of Finance.
Second. Councilman Cahill.
Aye.
Councilwoman Nguyen. Aye. Supervisor Flaherty.
Aye.
Councilwoman Cataldi. Aye. Councilwoman Wright. Aye.
And I reviewed the prepaid warrants as submitted by the Director of Finance, Paul Adams. Make a motion we approve them.
Second. Supervisor Flaherty.
Aye.
Councilwoman Cataldi. Aye. Councilman Cahill.
Aye.
Councilwoman Nguyen. Aye. Councilwoman Wright. Aye.
I also reviewed the purchase orders as submitted by Paul Adams, the Director of Finance, and make a motion that we approve them.
Second. Supervisor Flaherty.
Aye.
Councilwoman Wright. Aye. Councilwoman Cataldi. Aye. Councilman Cahill.
Aye.
Councilwoman Nguyen. Aye.
Just take a deep breath. The next resolution, number 4 on the agenda, this is somewhat of a housekeeping one that we do each year, because believe it or not, the Webster School District does have some of the town of Ontario in it. So we have to do this to make sure that the tax collector in the town of Ontario is synced up to us, in more words or less. Any questions? All right. I make a motion to appoint Shelley LaRocca, Town of Ontario, as the school tax collector for the 2025-2026 school year for the portion of properties in the town of Webster located in the Wayne Central School District.
Second. Supervisor Flaherty.
Aye.
Councilwoman Nguyen. Aye. Councilwoman Cataldi. Aye. Councilman Cahill.
Aye.
Councilwoman Wright. Aye.
I did that backwards, didn't I? that actually Ontario does one to appoint you as the tax collector for people who live in Ontario that go to Webster. This is for people that live in Webster that go to Ontario. Sorry about that. Okay, the next one, we had a presentation tonight by our town engineer, Keith Mortimer, that a lot of you, as you came in, heard the end of that presentation and some Q&A. I can't do anything on this.
So I would move to authorize the town supervisor to sign an IMA with Monroe County pertaining to the proposed 500-foot linear foot sidewalk on Lake Road from Bay Road to Sandfire Park.
Second. Councilman Cahill.
Aye.
Councilwoman Wright. Aye. Supervisor Flaherty.
Aye.
Councilwoman Cataldi. Aye. Councilwoman Wynn.
Aye.
In this next one, we do have to change it from 10-year to 5, right?
Right.
I've got it. I move to authorize the supervisor to renew a 5-year intermunicipal agreement with Monroe County through 2030 associated with the town's participation in the Arundequoit Bay Coordinating and Technical Staff Committees.
Second.
Councilwoman Cataldi.
Aye.
Councilwoman Wynn.
Aye.
Supervisor Flaherty.
Aye.
Councilman Cahill.
Aye.
Councilwoman Wright. Aye.
Do you need to add the 5-year renewal in there, or it's part of the contract?
It's part of the contract.
Okay.
Now we move down to number 8, and once again, unless there's any questions on this, this is,
You can't do this.
no, I can't.
No, and there is some documentation in our folders here on Art Patron's reason for choosing Kinsley Power for this 2-year service contract, and also some outlines of their fees associated with different portions and different generators. So I would move to authorize the supervisor to sign a contract awarding Kinsley Power a 2-year service contract for generators at the sewer department, Parks and Recreation and Town Hall, not to exceed $13,109.
Second.
Councilwoman Cataldi.
Aye.
Councilman Cahill.
Aye.
Supervisor Flaherty.
Aye.
Councilwoman Wynn.
Aye.
Councilwoman Wright. Aye.
Is there a
I am,
list
pardon me?
of them? A list of the police ones?
Yes, I
Yeah.
have it.
There it is.
Okay,
I'm
yep,
s-
okay.
So grateful we don't read all of these
Yeah.
anymore. I would move that we approve assets for deletion and addition from the police department.
Second.
Councilwoman Cataldi.
Aye.
Councilman Cahill.
Aye.
Supervisor Flaherty.
Aye.
Councilwoman Wynn.
Aye.
Councilwoman Wright. Aye.
Is that on there? Yeah. John, I guess you're the liaison, so shoot away.
Resolution to approve the following from the recycling for the finance department as listed on the documents that we were provided.
Second.
Councilman Cahill.
Aye.
Councilwoman Wynn.
Aye.
Supervisor Flaherty.
Aye.
Councilwoman Cataldi. Aye. Councilwoman Wright. Aye.
Not bad. We started at 7:09, it's 7:18. We've got everything out of the way except for the things that I said I think most of you are here for. So, James, would you pass those out or have people pass them along, packet, all right? And I would ask that if you're with somebody, whether it's your spouse or a friend, can you share them? Because I think we printed out 25 or 30 of these packets. They're for you to take with you. Maria, do you have what we are going to have up on the screen? Okay. Yes, pardon? Yes, yes. So, a little executive privilege on this one too. Before we get into this, I just wanted to make sure the packet that you have that you can take with you, and I want to make this is one of these hear me now, remember me later. This packet, even if this gets voted down tonight, hold on to this packet. Because there are things in this packet that you may refer back to in 3 months, 6 months, 12 months, when another cell tower proposal comes in this neighborhood. The first page in the packet is basically a rendition of the 1,000 feet away from the proposed site in the green and 1,000 to 2,000 feet from the site in the blue. And the red is the streets that I walked on door to door to get people's input on this. The next page in the packet is a reconciliation for your number of people. We had mailed out to 306 homes on July 11th how this process would play out in the different board meetings. We tried to mail that out after the July 3rd meeting when some of the citizens said, you know, you think you're letting people know about these things, but you really aren't. And I said, okay, I'll own that. Let's try to be uber communicative on this. And so we tried to send out to everybody that was within 2,000 feet of the proposed site. And even then, once we got into that, we figured out about a week later that we had missed LeBaron Circle, we had missed Little Bend, we had missed Majestic Way, Time, and Meadowood Drive. I walked out to LeBaron, Little Bend, and Majestic and hand-delivered that letter and to talk to people at the doors about it. Or if they weren't home, I put it in the door with a little note that said, give me a call if you have a question on this. All told, I went to 199 houses from the 19th of July, which was a Saturday morning, right up through Tuesday night. Got some incredible intel that I won't bore you with right now. Next page. This is what Verizon submitted as that same area that I just showed you on the previous 2 pages ago. This is that Wall Road to Woodhull, north and south, and Holt Road to Webster Road, 250. And all that white in there shows that there's really kind of low or no cell service. That's what it looks like now. The next page is what Verizon's engineers are saying it will look like if this tower goes in at the proposed site. And the green is coverage. I think that's it for what you have on the PDF, correct? There's 2 other pages in the packet. I'll just say that the 5th page in the packet is actually the revised letter that was, the original letter was sent out on July 11th. We revised it because on July 17th, many of you were in the room, we tabled this. So we revised it, and the blue shows the new tentative time frame of this project in which town boards. You do not have one. Did somebody not share with their spouse? Because I see you're sitting there with none. Isn't that a shame? How could that be?
There's somebody coming from the back that's willing to share.
Yeah, you can, you know what? Honestly, take mine. All right? I don't want anybody not having it. I beg your pardon? I think it'll probably go up on the website, or maybe not, depending upon how tonight goes, because here's the thing. I have right now 24 people signed in to talk, and that's wonderful. If they all take their allotted 5 minutes, we are going to hear 2 hours of talking, okay? And that's when people, don't forget, they got to come down from the podium, somebody else has to come back in and whatever. So that's going to happen. What I would like to do is I'm just going to query the chanters. If I show you a process tonight that you could be walking out of here in 10 minutes and this thing is dead, because why, if it's dead and it's voted down, do you need to still take the podium, in your opinion? You mean if this is dead and it's not going to happen, you want to still take the podium? Well, that just gave me some clarity. All right,
I think they mean
Yeah.
this specific site,
yeah.
this
Okay,
specific site.
so, I got it, and I mean, I don't think, that's good. All right, if this specific site that is town-owned, if the seeker neg deck and/or the lease doesn't get approved tonight, this site is done. If that happens, do you want to sit here for 2 hours and still take the podium? Of course you do, Rick. Okay. Okay, that's, I mean, it's different strokes, different folks. I mean, okay, I'll get to that in a second. Now, I'll get to that in a second, and I'm about to give the groundworks for how we do this meeting and the podium and who speaks, okay? So I'm going to take some executive privilege, and where are our people from Verizon tonight? Are they in the room?
They are not.
Okay.
They were,
That is unfortunate
They were,
because,
they were, but they left.
not a problem. Okay, you know what? I've learned in this position, I've learned running a company, I've learned raising 7 kids. I'm not going to please everybody. I'm just going to do this right now. I make a motion for a negative deck seeker determination on this proposed cell tower site. That's my motion.
Second.
Supervisor Flaherty.
Aye?
Councilwoman Cataldi.
Aye.
Councilman Cahill.
Nay.
Councilwoman Wynn.
Nay.
Councilwoman Wright. Aye.
Supervisor, before you move on, I would just advise on that seeker declaration, you would have to discuss the environmental impacts of this application and build a record to issue a negative declaration.
Okay. Non-pro-tunc. I don't want to waste these people's times, all right? We'll get to that. My next motion is to approve the lease as written between the town of Webster's landlord and Verizon as tenant on the site at Creekside. That's my motion.
Second.
Supervisor Flaherty.
Aye.
Councilwoman Cataldi.
Aye.
Councilman Cahill.
Nay.
Councilwoman Wynn.
Nay, and I would like to, first of all, explain my vote too. I wanted to first thank you, everybody here, to come in and voice your opinions peacefully and passionately for the past couple weeks. We hear you, I heard you, and I heard your concern and your passion. So my vote is no, and just to let you know that you have somebody that listens to your voices.
Councilwoman Wright. No.
Okay, guess what? It's over. It is over. Now, Attorney Daly, I apologize, your billable hours are over. But you'll find another client, don't worry. Okay, now, since it is done, and I want everybody to understand this, that site is gone, all right? Now, Verizon is going to go out in that, keep the packet I gave you, they're gonna go out in that area, they're gonna find a private landowner, and they're gonna come back here in a month or two, and they are going to do the same application, but on that site, okay? Because, as you see from your handouts, there is low coverage and capacity in that area, and they basically have their marching orders, FCC, they have to go fill it. So that's going to happen for the, if you think that there isn't going to be something coming back to the planning board in that particular area, I would be surprised if it doesn't, because I think Verizon's made it crystal clear to us that that is an area that they are looking for. So, with that being said, let's do the open to the 5 minutes.
Okay, before we do that,
Okay.
Keith, to your point with respect to the negative declaration on the seeker, is there additional verbiage that we need to add to this meeting with respect to that.
No, at this point, that seeker motion, although the negative declaration was issued in the larger context, as it was for the purpose of approving this lease, and it's now a moot point.
Okay?
Because I have significant issues with this.
Yeah. Well, guess what? The significant issue's won, and there is no tower going in at the Creekside site. Now, with that being said, Counselor Daly, would you like to take the podium to start out?
Supervisor, I think with the denial of the lease, I'm going to abstain.
Okay. George Charlo is next. Would you like to take the podium? Okay. Oh, no, you go up to the podium, George. And then just give your name and your address, so we can put it in the meeting minutes.
George Charlo. I live at 1230 Imperial Drive. According to the map that we're looking at, I'm just at this very borderline of being able to get a cell tower signal. First of all, I've lived at Imperial Drive for 30 plus years. We have Mill Creek going down the entire side of mine where the runoff comes down and pours into Mill Creek, and the clean stuff, and goes down and dumps into the lake. So we're kind of used to different things that are happening. For 30 years, we've had very, very poor cell phone where we're at. And it's to the point where we tried the booster, and all of a sudden now we're seeing that there's a possibility we could get it. When I drive my car down Imperial Drive from Route 250, when I get on Imperial Drive, I start to lose the phone signal, whether I'm coming in or I'm leaving. When I'm in my house and someone calls me, phone rings, I go to talk, and we spend about 2 minutes saying, "Hello, can you hear me? Can you hear me?" And I have to go to a northwest window to stand there to hold the phone so I can talk. All right? The people that have great cell phone in Webster, God bless you. But I've had this problem for decades, and now I'm finally getting a chance to maybe have a larger area that I can get a conversation at my kitchen table or wherever. That's why I'm excited about the opportunity that the cell tower's coming in. I'm a little bit nervous now that we're saying, well, we're going to vote that we're not going to have this cell tower where it's located. How much longer now is the next one? And then you've got the same thing probably wherever it's in that area. There might be some more opposition from there. Meanwhile, these people, do you guys have great cell phone power? And, all right, God bless you.
Tom,
Okay, you know what?
I'm telling you,
George, hold on 1 second. I screwed up. Imagine that. I do that a lot. Here are the rules of engagement of the open to the mic. Number 1, 5 minutes. I've stopped this. Please don't put me in the position of saying you're at 4 minutes and 45 seconds, because in almost 6 years as supervisor, there's no nice way to say that. I can say it with a smile, I can say it sternly, people get pissed at me. So try to keep what you're saying up there to 5 minutes or less. It's respectful to everybody else who wants to speak too. Number two, that is who speaks. This is all being taped. We have minutes going on. You can go and watch this 25 years from now, or go and look at the written minutes, and you will hear and see that person. Everybody out here who is throwing in their 2 cents, no, we can't hear you on the tape, and you will not do it, because then we got anarchy. You all can get a chance to give your 5 minutes, but it doesn't mean once you're done with your 5 minutes or before your 5 minutes, you're going to sit there and start pot-shotting who's ever up there, okay? Number 3, I always forget this one. There's one more. what do I say in my preamble? The rules of engagement. So
Address the board?
Huh?
Address the board, not the audience.
Oh, I know what it is. Geez, how could I forget? If you decide to utilize your 5 minutes to ask 1 question, 10 questions, 100 questions of the town board, we are not going to have you then step off and we're going to answer them all right now. We will do our best to get you to the person in the town, whichever department head, to answer those for you, okay? And if the other people are interested in those answers, we can do a sign-in at the end and get your email addresses so you all get the answers to those questions. But we are not going to answer them here because your 5 minutes asking questions could end up being us 35 minutes answering them. And then the next person goes up. You can see where that could be. So those are the rules of engagement. George, you're at 1:50. I'm going to turn it back on and you can keep going.
Thank you. So in any event, it's really tough to go for decades with cell phone problems at my house and what I'm putting up. My occupation is on the phone quite a bit, and it doesn't help at all that I lose their signal when they're calling me and we're talking about a situation. Personally, family-wise, if there's an emergency or if I'm trying to talk, someone calls me up, again, I have to go to a front window in the west, northwest, or southwest, I'm sorry, to try to have that conversation. I would really looking forward to that we get the cell tower, whether it's at this place or another place, and then those people don't want it, so on and so forth. If you've got cell phone, God bless you. But don't forget about us that don't have that ability to have your own phone work in your own house. So if this doesn't go through or continue to go through, so be it. But I'm just telling you, think about the people that don't have that cell phone connection. And if you do, you have it for 1.5 minutes in a corner spot in your house.
Yep.
Thanks.
So George,
Yeah.
thank you, and you kept it under 5 minutes, and you can, before we get the next person up, which is one of my favorite human beings of all time, Janice Rivenberg, when you took Counselor Daly out, which, by the way, you can thank me later that you don't have to pay him anymore for this, all right? There's 23 people that signed up to speak. 12 of the 23 live on Providence or Time. I'm going to tell you this right now. Providence and Time is the new way they build houses. They clear cut everything. They build the house. I was standing on Providence talking to people that live at 1455, Ernie and Marie. And he said, I get great cell phone coverage here. And I said, Ernie, of course you do. I said, look down the street. Look due east. 1,000 feet away was Route 250, and I can see cars going by with no problem. There is no buffers, no trees. There are about 80 people that live up on Time and Providence. In this area, there are about 450 houses. The rest of those houses are built the old way in Webster. They didn't clear cut the trees, like Imperial, like Majestic, like Scandia, like all these places that have these massive trees and they're not getting cell coverage. So I want to concede right now that the Providence and Time people, you don't have a problem because you have nothing. You're a bit higher also because it's about a 20-foot slope down to where this site was proposed, which is moot now because that's not where the tower's going to go. You're picking up coverage across the way, my guess is, from the rec center or from one of the other towers because there's nothing impeding it. So you're in good shape. But the other 80% of the people that live in that area, they do have bad cell service. So just wanted to let everybody know that as Janice, who lives on Sagebrook Way, is going to come up and talk, unless you don't want to. Okay. One of my favorite human beings. Look at the hat.
everyone. My name is Janice Rivenberg, and I live at 1160 Sagebrook Way.
Thank you.
I know I'm short, in Webster, New York, and thank you for the opportunity to speak. And I've gotten to know all of you over the past few years, and it's been wonderful to work with you, and I know you only have the best interests for all of us, and thank you for what you did today. What I want to speak about is where I live. If you look on that map, I'm in the dead area. And Tom, you've been over to my house, and part of the reason that I got involved in politics was when you spent that hour talking with me when you first went around. So you're the one to blame that I'm up here, okay?
It's like your hat.
So anyways, in August of 2010, I got my first iPhone 4. Yeah, everything would be dropping. As I moved up into a better one a few years later, I haven't had a dropped call where I live, and you know I have a lot of trees around me. And so I haven't had problems with it. There is another workaround too. I'm old, I'm 77 years old, so I need to have a landline, but I didn't want to pay a lot for it. So I bought an Ooma, O-O-M-A, and you can get it for under $100. You install it, you pay once, and then all you do is pay for your taxes. It's $6 and some cents a month. Obviously, Ooma would like to sell you an upgrade, but you don't have to use it. And it works fine. And I use green light, so I've saved a lot of money. So that's my backup, okay? That's my backup. So there always are workarounds. And over the past little over 10 years since I've been retired, I've done a lot of research about the 5G towers. And there's a lot of health issues. And I really don't want to risk my life, my family's life, just to have better cell phone coverage. So that's all that I wanted to say. I feel sorry for the people who don't, but you know what? Get an old landline, get an Ooma, for less than $100, you've got it covered. So that's all I wanted to say, and thank you so much, guys.
Thank you, Janice. All right, Tim Clayback.
In light of the negative vote of at least one compliance group.
Okay. Sue LaRosa. Jim Baker. Oh, okay. All right. Rick Starassi, he never met a microphone that he couldn't, of course he's gonna get up there. How much, anybody wanna make bets that I'll be saying 445? I hope not. All right, Rick.
Can you hear me?
Sure can.
I want to make sure everybody can hear you guys, because sometimes you can't.
Oh. Drinks, anybody?
Okay, my name is Rick Starassi. I live at 1491 Providence Drive. I've been a Webster resident for 20 years now. I just want to touch on 4 points. I'll try to be brief. The first point is health concerns. Symptoms include headaches, sleep deprivation, DNA damage near towers, and some studies recommend, and I got some documents to pass out to the board if you're interested, that back these studies up. They recommend a 200-meter buffer. That means they don't want anybody going outside when they're within that range. Other symptoms: RF sickness, cancer risk, biomedical effects near base stations. That's from an environmental research, volume 214, part 2, done in 2022. DNA damage, stress, cancer risk, prolonged exposure. This is done by the International Journal for Multidisciplinary Research, volume 6, issue 2, 2024. European Parliament report. RFR frequencies from 450 megahertz to 6,000 megahertz. Carcinogenic, impacts male fertility and fetal development. Everyone that was for the cell tower, the folks from Verizon for one, they say that the radiation emitted from the cell towers is safe. It's within the FCC regulations, safety guidelines. Of course, this conclusion is based on the FCC regulations that were written in 1996. And I can tell you, because I'm in the electronics business for 40-something years, the power of a cell tower in today's world is at least 100 times more powerful than a cell tower in 1996. All right? The American Academy of Pediatrics continues to urge the FCC to update their wireless safety limits. They're working on it, but Congress moves very slowly. I'm very glad that the board moved quickly on this one particular one. Another point, reduction in home values. 500 feet to 4,500 feet show up to 7.5% reduction in sale prices. This is from Hale and Beck, 2019 at Savannah, Georgia, and Bond in 2007 in Florida, and in another study in Montgomery, Maryland in 2022. The other thing is, no one wants to look out their window, even the guy that wants to get his cell coverage, no one wants to look at a cell tower. We live in Webster, it's a beautiful area, we want to keep it that way. Webster needs to, in order to put these cell towers in, Webster would need to approve certain, or make some variances to certain ordinances. But you've already killed that location, so I won't go there. All right, so thank you for that. Again, I've lived in Webster for 20 years. I don't have a problem with cell coverage. Yeah, I live on Providence, but I got Forever Wild behind my house. And I've walked all around the area, including the wooded areas, and I still don't have a problem. So maybe people need to change their coverage. So again, in closing, so I gave you 3 points because the fourth one you guys already took care of. We need to retain the beauty and the attractiveness of the landscape of our community. All right, and we need this board to do everything they can to protect the residents from any kind of harm. I don't care if it's short-term or long-term. And if there's the slightest possibility, not just with this tower, that's why I said this is not over, not just with this tower, but any cell tower, okay? We don't want to jeopardize our children, our grandchildren, and their children, all right? So let's be careful. So I asked the board, turn around, take a look at our town slogan, all right? Where life is worth living. Let's keep it that way. Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Excellent job, Rick. Tom Rutalis is next.
So my name's Tom Rutalis. I live 1187 Scandia Drive on the back end of Imperial. So actually, this is the first time I had seen some of these layouts with the cell tower and the areas with the dead spot. In your supervisor's corner, so they had been looking at this since January of 2022. Okay, and then about 18 to 24 months ago, they identified the site that was proposed. And when we talked just last week, it almost looked like you were saying, hey, if it isn't this, you're not going to like what is going to come up, that being it's going to go on private land. So do you know what privately owned locations Verizon or the town would be considered?
So look at Tom. Remember I said if you ask questions, we're not going to... You know what? I'll take the bait.
You can take all mine, yeah.
All you got to do is take a look at what I just handed out to you all, and look at that circle, and it's going in there, and they're going to go out, and I mean, you can go and look at this. It's all public information. It's either going to be on someone's half-acre property with a house, which I don't think they would do that, but there are some 3 to 5 acre parcels over there that if the owner of that parcel is like, yeah, I'll take the rent money, then that's where it's going to go. And anywhere in that circle, move it around. And I'm going to tell you, most likely, there are going to be more people that are going to see it.
Okay, but your number, you said you'd probably about 10 times the number of...
I would say move it around. And Tom, you're talking about a conversation we had at your house, and this is my opinion, all right, that anywhere you move it in that circle, which they say that's where it has to be to solve that problem, you can't put it over at the Xerox campus and whatever, then you're looking at some piece of property owned by somebody privately that it's not gonna be as big as a 7.5 acre with the 80 and 100-foot trees that this place has.
With the town,
So that's all, I'm speculating, Tom, so that's it. And no more questions. That one I think everybody wanted to know. Do I know which parcels Verizon is pointing at? Have no idea. And to be very honest with you, probably by the time that it comes back to this board and they go out and negotiate a lease, you won't have to worry about me because I'm done at the end of December. It'll be the board in January. They're gonna have to deal with that. So unless they have gone out and signed a lease in the next month with one of these private places, and once they sign a lease, then they'll submit it to the planning board, and it's the same process. It starts to, has to start here, the public hearing and all that, with a little bit of some derivations though, huh, Kyle? Once it's on a private property, but we'll leave it at that.
thank you.
Thanks, Tom. Eric Horkheimer. He left. Wow. Brittany Lewis. Oh, okay. Patrick McCarthy. Okay. Alex Sheldon. Oh, I beg your pardon?
I said, you don't want me speaking anyway.
You're right. And I'm gonna tell you, because I get very nervous when anybody running for office comes in here and takes that podium, because then I'm like, oh boy, we don't let political stuff, so thank you. Gary Moyle. Gary left too. Genevieve Johnson Stuber. Great name, by the way. This is the Hotel California, Janice. You will never leave.
Good evening. I'm Dr. Genevieve Johnson Stuber. I live at 1200 Imperial Drive, and I certainly appreciate the time to share some thoughts. The things that I have felt most concerned about with this is the feeling that I was having trouble getting the information I wanted. First of all, I would like to make sure that we're able to get an environmental impact study any place that we are going to get a cell tower placed. So one of the things that struck me most about this proposed land is that to get a cell tower in there, how much do they have to cut down trees, damage land to get things up? And maybe that's available somewhere. I've been starting here fairly recently, but I want to be able to find that and see that for any additional cell tower that gets proposed. And what are the alternative sites, which they've touched on a little bit. So I guess my proposal in all of this, given that there's clearly been a great deal of tension between a lot of the community in my area and the board and Verizon, is if there is information easily available online for us to see what are the proposed sites, what are the arguments for, what are the arguments against, have there been appropriate environmental impact studies, have there been other places that have been considered, what are the pros and cons, why have we chosen this one? That type of information is going to make all of us feel like we're able to comment, we have a part of this. The flip side being, I will note for the record, my house has terrible cell reception. We have good new cell phones, we have very good Wi-Fi, we have to use it for backup. We are unable to get good cell reception in most of our house. We often have to walk outside. As a physician, I take call. Sometimes this is a real issue when I'm talking to my patients. I don't want to have to walk out some other places where somebody might overhear me, where my kids might be there. I want to respect the privacy of my patients. And again, having cell phones, yes, I could have a landline. That in this day and age seems a little bit silly. From a practical perspective, I think we're in for a cell tower one way or another. But as a community, we can work on choosing the place that has the least negative impact to the people that live here, to the environment around us,
and to allow the people here to feel like they have a say in what's going on without it kind of popping up as a controversy with even just a couple of months' warning, with no options, with little insight and little additional information. All right.
Well said.
Great comments.
Thank you, Doctor.
Hey Kyle, I had a question for you, because I know in our packets, and this might help this lady out a little bit, we had a resolution, and the resolution passed issuing a negative declaration pursuant to the State Environmental Quality Review Act. And in this, it outlines reasons for the supporting negative declaration. Is this something that the general public would have access to if requested, so that they can see what was on that?
Once it's passed, it becomes public, it goes on file with Denine's office.
That is something you may want to take a look at, because it outlines the specifics with respect to the resolution issuing a negative declaration versus a
Okay.
positive. It's very
So,
specific.
I will note in that case, recognizing you have specific legal limits, you have the way that your website is put together, I did what I could to bounce around on that website and find information. I failed. I'm pretty good at information. I'm a physician. I know how to look up websites for medical information and find it quickly and easily. And if I don't know how to find it quickly and easily, I feel relatively confident that other people in this room, most of whom are also busy, have lives, have jobs, are taking care of children, we don't want to spend an hour on a website trying to find the information. So part of the frustration here is that I don't know. I don't know what other sites have been looked at. I don't know what kind of environmental impact there is. And if that type of information was quick and easily available on the town's website, if there was a click button to, this is the subject, we recognize it's controversial, let's put forward in lay terms the things we've looked at, what we like, what we don't like, the studies we've done, so that everybody can look at it. That allows us all to become well educated, to be comfortable that it has been evaluated appropriately, and to stop feeling like the only way to get heard is to have, 50 people show up to a town meeting that usually has 3 folks in the audience.
Three's pushing it, 1 or 2 probably, Doctor.
Okay.
All right.
So Kyle, this is something you should have to submit a FOIL for,
Why
correct?
don't you go over 5, because you, first half, then he
FOIL
has the
request?
second half.
Okay.
All right. Okay, well said, Doctor.
Excuse me, Kyle, am I allowed to give the doctor this information?
Let it rip. Let it rip. Because this is dead. Yeah, let's just keep going. Because we'll get a chance in a couple months when they bring it back to go over the process of how this works. Public hearings, board, referring it to the planning board, all of that. And I will say that everything the doctor said is completely rational and makes sense. As this goes through the process, through the planning board, all of that stuff starts to, play out. And I think if anything, one of the problems that we had from June 5th, when we had the public hearing on this, to August 7th, and it seems like you probably think, God, this has been going on forever. It's 2 months. And there's been people, the process worked, government worked. People came out, government worked. I'd like to think government also worked. I went to 199 houses. I'm not going to give editorializing of what I heard at those houses, all right? But I talked to a lot of people. And from that standpoint, when we sent that letter out on July 11th, like I said, when people came in here on July 3rd and said, you think you're communicating with us, you're not. And I said, you know what? I'm not going to argue that. I think they're right. Let's mail out on July 11th to all those people. And we did that. And then when we figured out, oh shoot, we didn't get time in there and we didn't get whatever, I made an effort to go to those houses and say, here's the letter we mailed out, do you have any? So Government worked, boots on the ground, government worked. This is government. 5 votes. Doesn't matter what my opinion is, I'm 1 vote. If I don't have 2 other votes, then this is how it worked. And it worked. I don't know how it'll work next time. Because like I said, a private property's got some different nuances to it that this property that was municipal owned doesn't have. Kristen Fees, what do you think? You can do it? Come on up.
Hi, I'm Kristen Fees. I live at 1487 Providence Drive. Can everybody hear me? Okay, Kristen Fees, I live at 1487 Providence Drive. As the supervisor pointed out, I did just move in about a month ago with my family, and we wanted to make this our forever home. Hopefully it can still be that, and now there's hopefully no cell tower right there. So I'll read the speech that I had prepared. So good evening, board members. I write to you, or I'm speaking to you not just as a concerned neighbor, but as a mother, a nurse practitioner, and someone who cares deeply about the health and safety of our community. I live just 1,500 feet from the proposed site of the Verizon cell tower, and at that point I was asking you to reconsider this construction, which you did, and we do thank you very much for hearing us prior to this meeting. I know we've all sent letters, and we thank you. It wasn't just about aesthetics or property values, it was about the very real and long-term impact that this tower could have on our health, our environment, and the future we're building for our children. As a healthcare professional, I've spent years studying evidence-based science, and I've also learned that the absence of consensus is not the same as absence of risk. The FCC guidelines currently used to justify tower placement are nearly 30 years old, which I think some other people have touched on, and they're based on short-term thermal effects, not long-term biological impacts. Since then, we've seen a growing body of peer-reviewed studies suggesting that prolonged exposure to radio frequency radiation may lead to cellular stress, oxidative damage, DNA damage, and disruptions to sleep, memory, and immune function. While the research is still ongoing and somewhat non-existent at this point, organizations like the American Academy of Pediatrics have already raised red flags, calling for stricter regulations to protect our children, whose developing brains and thinner skulls absorb significantly more radiation than adults, and are very much more impacted by this. So now I'll speak with the lens of environmental impact. The proposed site is not just near my home, it is nearly on top of wetlands and in an EPOD zone. Construction itself would have destroyed habitat, compact soil, and introduce light and noise pollution. Once the tower was operational, there'd be no turning back. The surrounding ecosystem would be permanently altered, and we'd be left dealing with the downstream effects for years to come. As outlined by Attorney Daly, the area is also located in a protected EPOD zone, and even if it were not, we're still in an R1 residential district, which is fairly low on the list of the town's communications law of where these towers should be placed. And that is public knowledge if anybody wants to look that up. It's the town communication code, and you can see where the priorities are of where these sites should be placed. First should be co-location, finding antennas on other towers. Next should be corporate industrial sites. Very low on the list are us and EPODs. So I have a fairly rhetorical question because I know I can't really banter back and forth, but how did this get so far in 3 years? Supervisor, you said 2 months that this has been going on, you know, in whatever you just said before, but in a recent post on your supervisor site, you said 3 years you've all been looking into this. That's a really long time. How did it get that far? Just gonna throw that out there. We live in Webster because we value nature, peace, privacy, and safety. We raise our children here, build our futures here, and hope to retire here. My family chose this home to be our forever home due to the character and beauty of this neighborhood. My daughter already loves to play outside with the many, many little children that live in this neighborhood, and they can all be seen enjoying the outdoors nearly around the clock, dawn till dusk. They play in the creek and the woods since it's a designated park space that was donated by the developers of this neighborhood to be used by the neighborhood and the community. Approving this tower doesn't just impact our backyards, it sets a precedent for every neighborhood in this town. There are far safer locations for this infrastructure, such as commercial zones and industrial corridors. Verizon has alternatives, we do not. This is a community decision and we must prioritize people over profit. And I urge you, do not force this project against the will of your constituents and your neighbors. Do not ignore the mounting evidence, and please do not turn your back on the voices of families like mine. Pause, reevaluate, because once that tower goes up, we can't take it back, but right now you still have a choice, and we really thank you for exercising that choice in our favor. Thank you for your consideration.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kristen. Now, she gets the gold star because that was 4 minutes and 50 seconds. Well done, Kristen. You can come in and talk anytime you want on that podium. All right, who's going first, David or Deanna Lilly? I don't know what he said.
I don't either.
Huh? Both of you are passing? Yeah. Okay. All right. Next is Robert Farney. You decline. Okay. Edward Schofield. Did he leave? I never can tell this beam right here. I don't know who's behind that beam.
Yeah, there's nobody over there.
Edward Schofield going once, going twice. I'm assuming he left.
Gone.
Lindsay Amon. Okay. Jeff Anderson. Okay. Jeff Spivak.
I'll be glad. I think my neighbors live in this house.
Okay. Sarah Jenner.
I might as well. I think Kristen was stood perfectly.
She was pretty darn good, I gotta tell you.
And thank you for your.
And does Justin feel the same way?
No one else.
All right. Exercise your rights.
Oh, man. Your rights.
Justin Jenner, 1512 Providence Drive. First of all, thank everybody for coming out and supporting this. I think it's a really good thing to make sure that we rally around as a community. I got to meet a lot of new people, especially Kristen and her family this week, so I think there's a lot of good that came out of this. I had a whole speech prepared. I'm not going to say that. Tom, are you listening?
I listened to every word. You have a whole speech prepared, you're not gonna say that.
One person talking, right?
Okay.
That's right. Okay, thank you.
He's a school teacher. He's a school teacher. You know what? He might get an extra 30 seconds.
No, I don't know. I don't need it. So we got what we wanted today for the most of us. I understand that there's other people that are on Imperial that don't have cell reception. I get that. It's a problem. Understood. You have options though, right? You can get a landline. You can do other things. If you're going to put a cell tower in this area, we don't have any other option other than to sell our houses, right? We have 4 kids, me and my wife. They're all under the age of 6. There is no concrete evidence that says being next to a cell tower is safe for a prolonged period of time. So anybody that says anything different is wrong. And I know we can't fight the FCC in the state and with all the local laws, but guess what? It's going to come back, and we need to come back harder and stronger than we did tonight. And if that means we got to go rally Congress or whatever, I don't care. That's what we're going to do. So I appreciate everybody. I appreciate you guys hearing me. But the one thing that I know is that the law is supposed to protect our kids. That's what I'm supposed to be doing as a father, and that's what I will continue to do. And I hope that you guys understand that you hold that same privilege in your hands. You're protecting my kids, right? Their welfare. So I get it. I understand there's other laws and above us and things like that, but we need to keep that in mind.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Wonderfully said. All right, and I always say, just because, you signed in and Justin was the last one to sign in, if you want to say something you haven't signed in, by all means, jump up there. And we started on June 5th with Rick, and we're going to end on potentially August 7th with Rick. 2 months. Boom. Go for it.
My name is Dave Remington.
Remington.
I live at 1214 Creekside Trail. I was here at the first meeting, and there was probably less than 10 of us at that meeting. And we asked you to put the word out for us, Tom, and you did, and I appreciate that, and I just want to say thank you. I do appreciate that. I appreciate everybody here showing up. I think the second meeting, we had 20 people. The third, we had a pretty full crowd, and tonight we had a lot of people here. And more people wanted to be here, but they're on vacation. And I think the next time, we have to come full force, just like you said. And I think it's going right down, 6 houses down from us. A guy owns about 7 acres, and Verizon will probably approach him. So it's not going away, and we do have to fight. T-Mobile, they have TV commercials, and they're using satellites with Starlink. And it's T-Mobile. Verizon is a bigger company, they can do it too. We don't need this cell tower. And I just really want to thank you for turning it down. And I think that the next one, you can turn it down as well, because they have other ways other technology that they can use. So just thank you, and thank everybody for showing up.
Thank you.
Thanks. Selfishly, I want my chanter here. You gonna take the podium? You want to take the podium?
You want to talk to me?
No, I wondered if do you want to talk to me?
I don't have anything to say.
Darn it, because I bet you'd be interesting. Does anybody else want to take the podium who did not sign in?
I just want to make a quick comment.
Okay, go.
So, to the board.
Name and address.
Kevin Lockhart from 100-2 Kittleberger. In the town code, what is the purpose of an environmental protection overlay district? And if one side has to concede, why would it be the residents, if somebody's got to concede on this issue, what would make the Verizon cell tower people be allowed to develop in an environmental protection overlay district, and the residents have to concede, as opposed to the cell tower developers having to concede because of the area that it's in? Thanks.
Thanks, Kevin. Anybody else? Going once? Going twice? Okay, that portion of the board meeting is complete. And since we don't have any other resolutions,
Say 3 times.
Teresa Zawacki Chapman. I live on Scenic Circle. And thank you to the board for coming together with us and hearing us. And truly and honestly, I really hope that you continue to support us and other residents that might come forward with other proposed sites close to this area. But I'm just curious, can you answer Kevin's question? Tom?
Kevin's question, let's see, I've heard a lot from Kevin lately, so I think
No,
what he
his
just
question
asked was about the
just-
EPOD district?
Yeah,
Is that what you're saying?
yeah.
Counselor, how would you like me to answer that question, since the EPOD maps are from 1979 and we are basically saying that we're not really sure if they have integrity right now and we're working on making sure that they do. That development is not disallowed in an EPOD district. In fact, if you look at those EPOD maps, there's been plenty of development in them over the last 45 years. I'm not saying that's right. Did the town board or did the planning board do enough vetting of those developments to honor the woods and the wetlands and the cliffs? I don't know. But I know this, and I wish, well, Councilor Daley, I'm not gonna, we are in the process of making sure that the 2025 version of EPOD districts have integrity, because the 1979 map, which is 46 years old, it has got a lot of flaws. And if you think about it, how do we have a sewer pump station there? Right? So I don't know how to answer that. I do know that the planning board, which this would have gone on to, they have to take a closer look at any development in an EPOD district because they just have to take a closer look at it. The wetlands and the trees, and they have to be very mindful and thoughtful of that.
Right.
So that's the best way I can answer that.
Yeah, okay.
And I do appreciate what Dave said, that I don't know if that's the case. If there's some guy or gal 6 houses down from me that owns 7 acres, it seems like a logical place for Verizon to go and talk to, whether that person would, you know, if they're a multi-millionaire, they're probably gonna want a cell tower on my 7 acres. If they're not, who knows what motivates a private person to become a landlord of a cell tower? I don't know. So, there you go.
Okay, well,
Thanks.
thank you.
Good seeing you, Teresa.
Yeah,
Thank
good.
Deja vu. Is there anybody else? My guy is not gonna do it. Not gonna do it. Going once. Going twice. Done. And because we don't have any other resolutions, this board meeting is adjourned.